Good morning, students. I welcome you all to this presentation of analytical techniques in environmental science. This is your syllabus. So the first one is atomic absorption spectrometry. Spectroscopy is a technique involved in environmental science where any sample absorbs and emits light. It involves splitting of the light into the spectrum, that is colored radiation. Absorption spectroscopy involves the determination of atomic makeup of a sample by testing for the absorption of specific elements across the electromagnetic spectrum. And spectrometry is the interaction between light radiation and matter. So in spectrometry, actually any sample, whatever light it absorbs, that is measured. Atomic absorption spectrometry. So here the concentration of the sample is measured at the atomic state, and by this technique the detection of metals, metalloids in environmental samples are done. Here the light source is a hollow cathode lamp, and the body of the lamp is made up of the element that needs to be measured. So this technique is utilized in measuring concentration of elements in river water, sea water, drinking water. It could also measure from that of air, petrol, fruit drinks, etc. The principle of this analysis states that elements absorb light rays at their atomic state and becomes excited to reach higher energy levels. And whatever energy is absorbed, that is compared with a known standard concentration, and that is how the sample is known. So this is the instrument of atomic absorption spectroscopy. So the next technique is inductively coupled plasma mass emission spectrometry. Here the principle is same as that of atomic absorption spectrometry, and this technique is used for testing of toxic as well as nutritional elements. Here plasma is an energy source which consists of free electrons and gaseous ions, and inductively coupled means a type of plasma source which is the energy where the energy is supplied by electric currents which are produced by electromagnetic induction. It is known as mass spectrometry because in this type of spectrometry, the mass of the sample is measured, that is quantitative analysis is done. The mass is measured by the mass to charge ratio. This technique involves the detection of ions of metals, non-metals, as well as isotopes, isotonic labeling. Next is chromatography. Now this is a very common technique of separation of mixture which has been known from our very school level. And in this technique both qualitative and quantitative analysis of the sample could be done. Here the principle states that the molecules of a mixture could remain in two phases. One is mobile phase and another one is stationary phase. And molecules might have different properties, for example, absorption, partition. So whenever a new surface is introduced to these molecules, the mobile phase and stationary phase of the different molecules would be different. So while some molecules move faster, the other molecules are slower in their mobility. So here we can see in case of paper chromatography, different molecules have moved towards different length. Application of chromatography could be based upon paper chromatography, it could be gas liquid chromatography and molecular sieve chromatography. Paper chromatography is used in case of protein synthesis, and here the mobile phases of the molecules moves in the paper while stationary phase remains in the liquid. Similarly, gas liquid chromatography is used for the separation of alcohol, ester, lipid, amino acid groups, etc. And molecular sieve chromatography is employed in case of molecular weights of proteins. Next technique is anode strapping voltammetry. This is employed for the analysis of organic molecules as well as metal ions. This technique is applied in case of heavy metal detection in water and soil, as well as food contaminants, for example, toxic metals, pesticides, fertilizers, veterinary drugs, and residual trace elements, etc. The principle states that the sample to be known could be extracted from scraping the anode. So in this diagram, we can see that electric current is passed through the electrolyte, and the sample to be known gets accumulated on the cathode, and that is scraped and known. So this involves electrochemical solution, and the analyte that is sampled to be tested is electroplated on the working electrode. So here we can see diagrammatically how this process goes on. In this case, the electrolyte is sulfuric acid, and the anode is accumulating titanium oxide. Next is turbidimetry. So as the name suggests, turbidity or the cloudiness of a liquid could be measured by this process of turbidimetry. And like we know that turbidity is a key factor of water quality. So this technique is applied for drinking water analysis and also for industrial purposes. The principle states that when light falls on suspended particles, it gets scattered and hence its intensity loses out. The loss of intensity of light is thus measured, and that gives us a record of the turbidity in water. So application of this technique is could be found in air and water pollution. For example, air dust, smoke, suspended particles, fly ashes found in the atmosphere, that could be measured. It is also applied in the determination of certain inorganic substances, for example, sulfate, ammonia, and phosphorus. In this slide, we can see the application of turbidimetry, like presence of ions, purity of water, food and beverage industry, air pollution, water pollution, densities of microbes, etc. Now, turbidimetry is very much similar with colorimeter, and here like the similarity are shown, and the difference is that the principle in case of colorimeter, absorption of radiation is there, while the principle of turbidimeter states that scattering of light radiation is the base. So for all these techniques, you all need to know a little bit of introduction of the topic, and then the principle and the application of the instruments. Okay, so this much for today. If you have any doubts, then you all can clear it.